Hello, hello, hello. It is Demi Darling. And today I'm going to switch it up. I'm going to talk about something I really don't normally talk about. Normally, I'm preaching and teaching, and I'm still going to teach today. But I'm going to talk about running. Um, I started running during COVID. Um, and it was just something that I wasn't good at. Being a dancer, it just I didn't have to run because I was always naturally skinny. So running was never really my thing, just because I was always endurance wise and I was dancing, so that was my cardio. But during COVID, um, I literally just like, you wanna know what? Maybe we should try something different, like something endurance based. I had got into yoga by then and all of that stuff. And then I was like, you wanna know what? I'm gonna start running. So without being able to dance and do all those things, keep my cardio going and all of that stuff, I was like, you wanna know what? Let's try something different. So I started running. And when I tell you, I didn't start off like when I first started off, I didn't have this little fancy watch I had. Now I have this little Garmin watch. It's $250 something. I didn't have that when I first started. The only thing I had was my phone, and my phone to track my distance. So I started off with my phone, and then my phone would tell me I would go from the distance from where I was to start it to then, and then I would go about it that way. Then I would do my start time on my phone. Then I would then go all the way, and then I would press stop on my phone, and then it was like a timer. So then I would just put the timer on, and then I would go, so I would run, and then after that, then I would stop. Then I would take the amount of miles that I did. Say I did 25 minutes. So then I would divide it by, I did 4 miles in 25 minutes. So that's 6 minutes a mile. That's how I would do it, but I wouldn't do 6 minutes a mile. That's just a little estimate, which means that's not really the exact time or the exact thing that I finished. But I started off doing like 13 minutes a mile. So literally, it took me almost like, what, a whole hour to do like 4 miles. And then that's how I calculated it. So the start time, and then I would see what time it was. And then even if you don't have anything to like in your car, or you don't want to like carry your phone, start your phone if you don't have a watch, then go run, and then run to a place. I would then run in the house and I would check the time. They're like, ooh, I stopped here. This is the time that I stopped at. So then therefore then you can divide it by how many miles it actually is. It's not going to give you the exact time of the minutes per mile, but you have a ballpark figure as to what you are able to do until you can get your these little fancy watches and all of these things and all of that. But now most of the time most people have phones. So I would say before you get these watches and things, I have a Garmin 245. I think I have the Garmin 245 Forerunner with music. So this actually, I can put music on and then Bluetooth it to my headphones, and then it can also be paired to my phone. But I don't pair it to my phone. That's a whole different story. If you follow me, me and my phone have some issues, so it be doing what it want to do. So, and when I'm doing my fitness, I'm very focused, so I don't want the phone to then interfere with my watch, and then it all gets me discombobulated and stuff, and then I just can't. But anyway, if you have your phone, you can then have, if you go on my Instagram of Demigod of the Seas, if you scroll to the bottom, I have a harness that you can put your phone in and you can run with your phone. So therefore it has a protective cover over it. So then therefore your phone can then like be there, then you can start it and stop. And a lot of times your phone will then tell you, you can get like a running app or something, and then it'll actually tell you what you're able to do, how far you go, and all of those things. But if you don't have your phone and your phone just ain't working, if your phone is sometimes possessed like mine, Just write down the time, remember the time, and then when you get back to where you're going, where you stop, check the time again, then see the distance, and then divide it that way. Then you have a ballpark figure as to what you're able to do in like the minutes per mile. I will say when you first start running, don't get frustrated. I didn't get frustrated. I was like, you wanna know what? I didn't. Now, what I did was the person that I actually, when I first started running, I put my goals after was Nick Bear, because I was on YouTube and he would just have to be running. I was like, ooh, and he was a hybrid athlete, so he was strength training as well. I was like, oh, okay, he strength trains, so I can run. So then I think he was running like 8 minutes a mile. Then I was like, I'm gonna run 8 minutes a mile. I finally got to that 8 minutes a mile, and then I got to 6 minutes a mile, then I got to 5 minutes a mile. So, find something that you can do that someone will actually push you. And when I first started, I was running before I had got my Vaporflies, because running shoes are expensive. My Vaporflies are like $250, $300 pair of shoes. I started off in my Nike 270s. I think they're like 160, but by that time I had so many pairs. And then my aunt's husband, he said, well, Demi, you're basically running barefoot. I said, well, if that's the case, if I can get 8 minutes a mile in these shoes that are not proper running shoes, then when I get proper running shoes, it took me to 6 minutes, then 5 minutes. If you've been listening to anything I said, if you make it harder on yourself, then when you are able to get the things that you need, darling, it will be easy. You see how that is? He said, Demi, you're basically running barefoot. So the shoes that I had were not proper running shoes, but I still made them work anyway. I still pushed my foot in them, and I still 13 minutes, then went to 10 minutes, and then went to 9 minutes, then went to 8 minutes. Then by the time I was able to afford proper running shoes that I actually fit, I like the Vaporflies. There are different shoes for different things. New Balances didn't work for me. I tried I think they call the Saucony or the Sauconys. They didn't really work for me. I now have the On Cloud. Those don't really work for me either. They're too cushiony. And the Sauconys were too cushiony as well. The New Balances, my foot is narrow and I like my things to fit tight. I like to feel snug. I need to make sure that I'm secure. Adidas shoes, they fit too wide, so I don't wear those either. The Hokas, the soles are too thick. So for me personally, I like a little bit of shoe that I can actually do some work. I like to feel that I'm working. I don't like to have too much comfort. I like to know that, like, if something happens, I can still put it in gear and I can be able to handle it myself. You know what I mean? I don't like no cushiony fall. So that's the reason why I like the Vaporflies, because they're not too big, they're not too thick, they just right. So then therefore your feet, you can feel your legs working and things of that nature. I'll be careful because some of these running shoes have been banned from the Olympics. So therefore, if you're going to get into running as well, make sure you look into the shoes that have been banned. I think the Nike Alpha Flies have been banned. So I would say if you're going to run and you're going to be like an avid runner or even someone who sprints of anything of that nature as well, check to see what is used in like the Olympics, and then therefore you can train that way. But hey, if you don't have the proper tools that you need, use what you got. So then therefore when you're able to get to where you are able to get the proper things and the proper things that you need, then life will be easier. I have been preaching this, make it harder on yourself. So therefore, when things come along, it'll be smooth sailing. I got my Vaporflies and it took me to 6 minutes, 5 minutes a mile. You see how that worked? Boom, I was ready to go. I got my watch. I was like, you want to know what? Boom, 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 boom. And then it helped me discover like the actual mileage and the time of what I'm actually able to do. My heart rate, how long I'm actually able to last. So when you first start, you don't need a lot of things, but you do need the will to actually do it with anything, to be motivated, to have the stamina, the endurance. And that's what running gave me, was stamina and endurance. So hey, but I will say, when I was running. I started running back home in good old town of Waterloo, um, Waterloo, South Carolina. And it's small, and I started running early in the morning. So I was up early in the morning before the crack of dawn. If you ask my aunt, she would work at night, and then she'd be like, "What, you up?" And then she would know because there was a security camera outside that would then ding to let her know that I had left and when I was coming back. So therefore, she'd be like, "Hey, Demi, I'm gonna check on you," and then she'd be like, "Ding." So there's things. So when people like, "You up early," I've always been up early. I've been an early riser. Like that's how it works. I like to move early because most people don't like to move early. They like to sleep in. Then by the time people start, you've already done. So by the time I was working a remote job, I had to work. I had to be on my job at 9:30. I would then get up in the morning around like 4 o'clock in the morning. I would get up, run, do my run, then do my yoga, cook my breakfast, take my shower, talk to my aunt, then get ready. I was like, "Aunt, I gotta go to work." And then by that time I was ready to go. I did a little workout after my yoga, and then at 9:30 I was on my call. This is Demi. So hey, whatever it is that you need to do and can do, if you want to do it, you will do it. I will say I had encouragement along the way. I said like Nick Bear was a person that I like looked up to, but also there was um, living up the street was another one of our relatives, and every morning, if I didn't see him when I was leaving, I saw him when I was coming back, and he would be there sitting there watching. I'd be like, "Good morning." He'd be like, "Good morning." Or his wife, my auntie, would be outside every morning, like clockwork. If they didn't see me go up, if I didn't see them going up, I saw them coming back. And they'd be like, "Oh, good morning. Keep it going. Keep it going." And I'd just be steady going. So, hey, when things get a little tough, there's always some encouragement along the way. But when you're starting something new and you don't have the proper tools, you actually do just have to make it work. You got to think about back in the day when they was doing these things that didn't have cell phones and iPhones and these fancy watches and things. How did they do it? They know they had a little watch and you go to do the little time or a little stopwatch or oh no, go to the little Dollar General, get you a watch, do something $5. It doesn't really need to be anything fancy. But most of the time everybody has phone nowadays. So you can use your phone. And if you're able to get you a harness, then you can put it in a little packet. I got mine off Amazon. You can order off Amazon. You know, that's a different story for a different day too. You can order off Amazon. It was quite nice. I loved it. It went missing. Surprise, surprise. But it was actually quite nice to run in because then if you were out, it was quite nice. Um, you put your phone in and it had a little thing for like your card and your money and like your ID or something. So like if I was running and then I want to like stop at the store and I want to grab me a water, I just put my money, boop, put my thing, boop, and then continue on my way. Drink my little water, throw it in the trash, the bottle in the trash, and keep it pushing. So those are always good options too. I think it was only like $20 or something. It really wasn't that expensive. It wasn't no more than $20. So it wasn't that expensive. And that's something that you can even wear, not even just for running. If you're headed out and you have on a t-shirt or something and you just want to put something on so you don't have to hold your purse or like a bag or a wallet and put your phone in, especially if you're going out or something. You know, if you're going to party and you already know that people steal or something, then you have a harness to put on yourself, put your money in, then therefore you know it's attached to you, then you can't lose it. And then if you need to check your phone, just unbutton it, and then it just snaps, and then you just look at it, and then you push it back. Then therefore you don't have to worry about nobody stealing your phone, or you putting your phone down and somebody stealing it, or stealing your money, because it is always on you. So therefore, if they take it, it has to be taken off of you. And the good thing about this is it goes over your head. There's no like snaps, so you don't have to worry about nobody snapping it and then it falling off. It has the little bands on the side that you can tighten. So if they take it off, you're gonna have to know they're taking it off. All right. So those are some little tips about like running wear, running gear, people to look up, and things of that nature. find your motivation along that way. I always kept up with mine when I was on the ship in Seattle. I would get off the ship early in the morning. We docked in Seattle, and then I would get off, and then I would see the little policeman. There was always the policeman that was there. I would get off, and then he was like, "You going for a run this morning?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm going for a run." I would run around Seattle, come back, then I would go change my clothes, and then I would go to the gym, and then I would change my clothes again, and then I would get off and then go to my private boxing lesson. People like, "You going again?" I'm like, "Yep, I'm going again. Gotta go to boxing." Then I would go do my private boxing lesson. Then from boxing, I would go to Whole Foods. And then from Whole Foods, I would go back to the ship. And then if I had to work embarkation, then I would go take a shower, change, bring my shake to embarkation, and then greet the guests. And then that was my whole day. And then after that, then I would eat sushi. So, hey, well, there's a will, there's a way. So you just have to be able to do it and manage your time. Anything worth having is worth working for. Nothing is given, everything is earned. No pain, no gain, darling. So, those are my little tips, especially when you first start running. It's not going to be easy. I don't run long distance anymore for the simple fact that running, I lose weight really quickly. So I know like if I start to get a little heavy, then my weight that I want to be, then I'll run. And then run, I would drop like 5, 10 pounds instantly. So I don't run anymore. I'm more of a sprinter now. So I sprint to get my legs going and keep those fast, and that still keeps my endurance. And I'm more on the spin bike as well. But I will run. I would go out and do like a mile or two, or maybe a 4 mile run, but nothing really too much long distance. But I still do have the stamina because I did a run and I run 10 miles and hop on the spin bike, spin for 2, 3 hours and hop off and do an hour yoga, then go to the gym. So once you have the stamina and the endurance, it will always be there because you have trained for it. You just have to keep, I don't know, you have to keep it dusted and I'll keep it freshened up. So now since I'm injured with my shoulder, I can't really run because of the tension with the shoulder and all of that stuff. I fast walk. So fast walking is also hard as well. It is extremely difficult. It's not easy. It's not as easy as it sounds. Most people think fast walking is easy. Give it a try and see. I have gotten it down to where I can fast walk. I think my best fast walking time has been 9 minutes a mile. So, and that's almost running. So the thing about fast walking that I love and I discovered was that it's a point of control. It helps you control your body because your legs want to run, but you have to keep both feet on the ground and heels have to go. Because as I say, look at the Olympics. It'll tell you if your feet come off the ground, you're running, then it's out. So it's harder than it looks. These are just some things with running, sprinting, fast walking, gears and things of that nature. Then when you don't actually need a lot, but then when you actually are able to get the things that you need, then you will see that you are ready to bust off. You'll be ready to go. So you make it hard on yourself. I didn't have the proper things that I need, but I made it work until I was able to afford a fancy watch and then get my $200 and $300 pair of Vaporflies, and that's what I needed. And then once I got those, it was a piece of cake. It's easy peasy. All right, now so that is my little talk on running and starting with like the gear and things that you need and suggestions about like a harness or things of that nature as well. If you have any questions or anything about like running or fitness related or things of that nature, you can contact me on Demigod of the Seas. There's Cycle with Demi as well. So if you have any questions about like cycling on the spin bike, I don't really cycle outside. I do more like cycle inside on the spin bike. Yoga questions, anything of that nature. I have Yoga with Demi as well. Motivational speaking, nothing but the gospel. And Demi the chef, something that nutritious, honey. Have that as well. Even some singing things too. So, hey, There's multi-talented and lots of gifts and knowledge. And there's one little body that's been on here for 36 years. I always say where there is a will, there is a way. So whatever it is, make sure you hang in there. And if you need some advice, I'm all about helping you, get you some advice. If you need to have a question or two, then I will answer it. But anything besides that, darling, she is a businesswoman. All right now. So make sure y'all have yourself a good day, a good night, a good morning, a good evening, a good afternoon, wherever you may be. Always remember what you put into your system, that's what your body gives you back. And last but not least, you are stronger than you think you are. And shout out to my LGBTQI plus community. And last thing, especially with my LGBTQI plus community and the things with the trans and all these different laws about the running and all of this stuff and the competing, and don't really worry about that. I say this: if you are trans, if you went from female to male, male to female, and you want to compete, and they won't allow you to do it in the Olympics that you want to do it in, go ahead and put yourself back in the men's category. I say that only because, not for the simple fact for you to make yourself feel bad, but to show them that, darling, I can do both. Guess what? You may cut me out of one, but I'm going to be over here. And I'm going to show you that no matter what's in between my legs, and no matter what you call me, darling, I'm going to run my race at my pace. Even if I don't get there, still have the audacity to stand up and be strong, like, I'm going to go to the Olympics, and that's what I want to do. And that's what you do. So don't worry about it. I know there's one case where this girl, she was in high school, and it said it was transgender kids. And I think I had talked about this before, but she had said that they forced her to run. But the other transgender kids ended up getting scholarships to other schools. To the young lady, I'm not trying to say, no one can force you to run, baby. That was your decision. Your decision was that you wanted to run. The thing that you and your family are upset about is that you didn't get the accolades and the glory from it. Let's be honest. You wanted the scholarships. You wanted the accolades. You wanted to be glorified, and that's what you wanted. No one forced you to run. You decided upon that day that I'm going to run this race. No one forced you to run. You don't have to run. It's your choice to run. But you decided that you wanted to run, and when you didn't get the results that you wanted, you then tried to blame it on the transgender and all of these things to find a loophole out of this. You see how this is. So I say to the LGBTQI plus community, if you are trans, no matter what it is, run your race at your pace. Do not let these people stop you from getting into fitness and all of these things, especially like physique bodybuilding. I'm training eventually to step on stage in physique bodybuilding. Maybe one day we'll have a LGBTQI plus Olympics. Therefore, we can have our own Olympics. I know there's LGBTQI plus fitness competition as well that trans people can compete in. So hey, if we all band together, we are strong enough. We got supporters, honey. We can start our own. They got what? They got the Olympics. They got the Special Olympics. We can have the LGBTQI plus Olympics, honey. The gays all around the world, honey. Won't that be a spectacle? They will come all over, darling. We swim, we run, we good at everything. Why are we going to let our sexuality hold us back? So, hey, at the end of the day, let's build it, darling. As I say, they got the regular Olympics. They don't want us there. Let's build our own. The LGBTQI plus Olympics, darling. Have it in every city. There's what? World Pride? Pride Olympics. The Olympics of Pride. I don't know what it could be called. Just throwing some ideas out there to get the thing going. You know, we fundraise. We got money. Everything. There's everything around the world, darling. Let's show them what we can do. We already had Pete Buttigieg as a candidate for president. Why can't we have our own Olympics? Get our own gold medals and our own sponsors. I'm done. So at the end of the day, all I'm saying is Don't let anything stop you from doing what you want to do. No matter if you're gay, straight, hetero, homo, non-binary, gender fluid, asexual, atheist, whatever. Religious, spiritual, I don't really care. Don't let it stop you at this point. All right, I'm done. Toodles.